Welcome to another video. And before I get into this video, I just want to tell all of you this. Last week on Monday, I went through a storm. Well, it was a windy storm that had strong winds. It was raining really hard. It was raining cats and dogs outside. And it blew down some trees, and I have a neighbor who lives across the street from me in a neighborhood, and tree branches were all over the front yard of his home. And also, a tree fell down like near a fence behind my house. So, there wasn't a lot of damage around my house, so everything was intact. So, my house is still standing. And, that crazy wild weather of strong winds and heavy raining, all of that's just basically part of climate change. And you know what? It is part of climate change. And I heard there's going to be a heat dome in Canada. And this heat dome is going to lead to older people, elderly people, to have strokes and heart attacks. So yeah, due to the fact that it's going to be a hot summer, here in North America. So that's all I gotta say on that, and let me get into what this video is all about. Oh, and one more thing. My sister came over to my house for shelter, to get away from the storm, because she lives in a trailer and the storm could blow some of the trees down and crush her trailer and probably injure her or probably kill her. So she came over here for shelter, and I let her in the house with me, into my house, and she was safe and sound, and I was safe and sound. Okay, let me talk about what I want to talk about in this video. Alright, in this video I want to talk about the Channel Tunnel. That's right, the Channel Tunnel that connects Great Britain with the European mainland. This thing was built in 1994. I think construction of it was started around 1988, and it went from there to 1994. So, the Channel Tunnel. I never been on this thing at all. I know that people can drive their cars, and buses can go onto the train cars of these Channel Tunnel trains, and also passenger trains, and they transport passengers in passenger trains, and also in trains that pull people's cars and buses and motorcycles, between Great Britain and the European mainland. So basically, the train just transport road vehicles and people back and forth between Great Britain and Europe. Great Britain is basically the United Kingdom. Okay, I'm going to read something about the Channel Tunnel, and I found it on Wikipedia. So let me get right into this. Okay, the Channel Tunnel, sometimes referred to informally as the Channel, is a 50.46 kilometer undersea railway tunnel opened in 1994 that connects Folkestone, Kent, England, with Conquelle past the Calais in France, between the English Channel at the Strait of Dover. It is the only fixed link between the island of Great Britain and the European mainland. At its lowest point, it is 75 meters below seabed and 115 meters below sea level. At 37.9 kilometers, it has the longest underwater section of any tunnel in the world and is the third longest railway tunnel in the world. The speed limit for trains through the tunnel is 160 kilometers per hour. The tunnel is owned and operated by GetLink, formerly Gump Eurotunnel. The tunnel carries high-speed Eurostar passenger trains, Le Shuttle services for road vehicles, and freight trains. It connects end-to-end with high-speed railway lines. The LGV Nord in France, let me say this again, the LGV Nord in France and High Speed 1 in England. In 2017, rail services carried 10.3 million passengers and 1.22 million tons of freight, and the shuttle carried 10.4 million passengers, 2.6 million cars, 51,000 coaches, and 1.6 million lorries, equivalent to 21.3 million tons of freight, compared with 11.7 million passengers, 2.6 million lorries, and 2.2 million cars by sea through the port of Dover. Plans to build a cross-channel tunnel were proposed as early as 1802, but British political and media criticism, motivated by fear of compromising national security, had disrupted attempts to build one. An early unsuccessful attempt was made in the late 19th century on the English side, in the hope of forcing the hand of the English government. Excuse me. The eventual successful project, orchestrated by Eurotunnel, began construction in 1988 and opened in 1994. Estimate to cost £5.5 billion in 1985. It was at the time the most expensive construction project ever proposed. The cost finally amounted to £9 million, equivalent to £22.6 billion in 2023. That's a lot of money. Since its opening, the tunnel has experienced occasional mechanical problems. Both fires and cold weather have temporarily disrupted its operation. Since at least 1997, aggregations of migrants around Calais seeking entry to the United Kingdom, such as through the tunnel, has promoted deterrence and countermeasures. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about migrants in northern France tried to get to the UK. They tried to get to the UK on boats in the English Channel. I think I also heard about them trying to get to the UK by going through the undersea tunnel of the Eurotunnel. Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, Um, the channel tunnel sounds amazing. And I remember I did a video about this. And, it didn't come out right and it wasn't that great. I don't know if that video has gotten a lot of views or not. So, um, yeah, channel tunnel, the channel, as they call it in England. There's a French translation for the channel tunnel. Tunnel sur la Manche. Um, I'm not that good at speaking French, so speak a little bit. I can write some things in French, but a little, but not a lot. Well, anyway, yeah, what really blew me away about the Channel Tunnel or those Eurostar passenger, not those not the Eurostar passenger trains. Yeah, I'm gonna say those trains or the shuttle. Those train cars where vehicles like cars and buses or coaches are driven onto these cars, these train cars, and you can have your. If you want to I say if you live in like the UK, France, or any other country in Europe, like you can drive your car onto a train car that's tailor made for vehicles. You can drive them onto these train cars, and you just sit in your car. And I think I watched a video about the um the shuttle train that goes through the tunnel, the channel tunnel underneath the English Channel. They have this intercom. They have this person's voice on the intercom, telling everybody to roll down the windows of their car and cut off the fuel supply to their car. I mean, shutting their car off and don't let their car run during the crossing. And don't stand between the vehicles during the crossing, which is some good safety um, lesson right there. And if you want to go to mainland Europe, I would say if you want to go to either if you're in if you're on the European mainland or if you're in Great Britain, I mean you can get on a bus where a bus can be driven onto a train car of one of these trains into a train car like a big like a train car for buses and a train car for cars. Okay, buses and lorries, like I think they go into these train cars that are big and huge that accommodate them. And the in the I think the train also the other train cars that are tailor made for cars, and people who drive cars drive their cars onto them. But I think I saw in one of the YouTube videos about the Euro tunnel that cars end up in a train car with buses or coaches. I'm thinking that those train cars for cars don't have enough room, so some of the cars go into the train car with the buses, which is insane. Okay, I'm going to go back to what I just read. Okay, pick out something. Okay, to back up what I just talked about. Okay, she said the shuttle. Okay, the shuttle carried 10.4 million passengers, 2.6 million cars, and 51,000 coaches, and 1.6 million lorries. So this thing is amazing. Wow. Also, I heard that if you want to drive your car in either mainland Europe or in Great Britain, you gotta you gotta schedule the trip through the Channel Tunnel on a website. And we get to the Channel Tunnel, and you get to the Channel Tunnel station. Um, you gotta book it. You know, confirm your code, and they'll give you a number to wait for your number to be called. You go to the car park after going through the booth, you know, to confirm your trip. After you fixed it up online, after that, I think you go to the parking lot after you get your number and put it on the hanging on the rear view mirror of your car, and you drive to the car park and wait for your number to be called. You can get out and you go to a shop, you know, and buy some souvenirs and look at the display and history of the Channel Tunnel, but you can't spend too much time on that because when your number calls, you got to get in your car and head to the train to drive your car onto the into the train cars. And I heard that like when you're in the if you're in the if you're in a passenger train, or you're just a passenger, or you are in one of the cars on the train that carries vehicles, road vehicles or coaches. Yeah, if you're going through the Channel Tunnel, if you're underneath the English Channel, it'll take like 35 minutes. That's it. That's quick, and you know, and because the train is traveling at speeds up to like 160 kilometers per hour, or an imperial 100 miles per hour. So yeah, I don't care for the imperial system. I prefer using metric. So yeah. Um. Yeah. I also heard stories that when you're on or that people who are on those train cars of the Eurostar passenger trains, or the Le Shuttle service cars for road vehicles. I'm gonna focus on. I'm gonna talk about the Le Shuttle, the Le Shuttle cars for road vehicles. I heard that when you're in there, like, I mean, the body odor, like, from people, like, smells really bad. It stinks in those things. It smells in those things. Smell really bad. I'm thinking like it smells like feces in it. Ugh. Like the body odor is like it's just really bad. Smells bad. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're gonna. I guess I'm gonna be in the Le Shuttle service car for road vehicles with a lot of smelly Europeans. Yeah, I've heard from crazy Americans that Europeans smell really bad. So I'm not here to to insult anybody from Europe. I mean, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I just hear stories. So you know, I guess you know if I'm in a train car with some Europeans and they smell bad, I mean, I'm not gonna make a fuss or anything. I'm just gonna just hold my breath, you know, and you know just walk right past them if I want to go to the bathroom. And oh yeah, you know, I don't mind like socializing with people on the Channel Tunnel, like not channel on those Eurostar train cars. I don't mind talking. I don't mind socializing with people. even if it's in the Eurostar passenger trains or the Le Shuttle service cars. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, yeah. I realized. I also realized that Europeans, they're, to me. I mean, I ain't saying that they're funny people. Like some of them will ignore you and won't say anything to you. Because I remember I watched this TV show. It was this woman from Texas, a state in the U.S. She was paired with some guy from some country in Europe, and he and her, like, they start talking to each other. I think it was like Naked and Afraid. It was the show Naked and Afraid. Okay, after they socialize with one another, okay, the guy just stopped talking to the woman, and the woman was annoyed, and because the guy won't talk to her, and all he cared about was just surviving and just doing his part. He wanted to be independent, and that drove the woman start raving mad that she wanted to kill the guy. And when she made that threat, she was booted off the show. And the guy won the Naked and Afraid challenge all by himself. I think this happened in Australia. So, it come to find out he was from a broken, messed up family. So, yeah, if I'm around some Europeans who don't want to talk to me, I'm just going to just leave them alone and just go and talk to someone else. Yeah, I got a whip of the culture from Europeans in Europe. Countries like the United Kingdom, Greece. In Greece, I went to some souvenir shop and not some souvenir shop. I went to some cafe to buy a drink. And I saw this woman. She was like moving really fast, and she was just like moving back and forth really fast. And I saw that, I wasn't freaked out by it or anything. And when I went to pay for my thing, she just rang my drink up really fast and gave it to me, and that's it. Didn't say a word. So yeah, that's just the culture. So I'm not annoyed by it. Also, I was on an Italian-based flight called Italiano Airlines, and I think, yeah, the people on the airlines, they were basically acting like a bunch of asses, but they were being rude, to people because it was part of their culture because they're from Italy. So yeah, there's some things that I'm not gonna like about Europe. There's some things I'm gonna like about Europe. But what I really care about is making friends and finding that special woman. I hope I find her in Europe or any other country that believes in social or human connection, and in a country where people are friendly, sociable, and down to earth, and easy to connect with. But not everybody in Europe is gonna flock to me and talk to me. Some will, some won't. So yeah, the Channel Tunnel, it sounds amazing, and yeah, if I'm in Europe and I wanna, or if I'm in, if I'm in France, I might take a trip on the Channel Tunnel, and go to the UK. But I remember someone telling me, don't go to the United Kingdom for the European experience. People there are antisocial for the most part, but if they do feel social, it's at lame pubs and clubs, and they get smashed drunk at some pub, you know. And someone told me just socialize with people. I might find people who will socialize with me in countries like Portugal, Spain, and other countries in Europe. Yeah, that's well where where I won't where I can socialize with people instead of being isolated and alone here in the United States or in the United Kingdom. So yeah, the Channel Tunnel. I can't believe it. If I get on this thing, I mean, get on a train that goes underneath the English Channel, like I'm gonna be at sea. I'm gonna be under the sea. And I saw that when a train was going under the English Channel and reaching speeds of 160 kilometers per hour. I mean, it was just complete darkness because they're in a tunnel underneath the English Channel. And I guess the only way you know that if you're in the UK or in France, you'll see some light when you get out of the tunnel. Either it doesn't matter if it's on the British side or the French side. So let me get this straight. So okay, if I travel from France to the UK in the in those Eurotunnel trains, and if I go from France to the UK and come out on the British side, am I going to hear "God Save the Queen" or vice versa? If I travel from the United Kingdom and go through the English Channel and come out on the French side, will I hear the French national anthem? Da 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 da. Yeah, I think I won't be hearing anything. I think the only thing I'll be hearing is a Swedish person or a French man or a British man letting out a huge nasty fart and coughing and sneezing and spitting. That's probably what I'm going to be hearing. And people talking to each other. If it's with a British accent or with a French accent, or just hear people communicate with each other in French or Francais. So, that's all I got to say in this video. Let me kill it. Thank you for watching. Cheers and au revoir. Bye. One more thing before I close up. Going back to the national anthem of the United Kingdom. It's not "God Save the Queen," it's "God Save the King," because King Charles III is the King of England, and the Queen Moom, Queen Elizabeth II, is dead. Yeah, she's dead and gone. So, just want to correct myself on this. All right, have a nice day. Goodbye. Cheers.